Hey, Joe Zarzaur here with another segment of Zarzaur Law TV. We're talking today about passengers that are injured in car wrecks and what special considerations they may have versus drivers. Because most of the time it's the driver versus the driver, and one of the drivers is at fault, the other driver calls us, who's not at fault, and they're injured in a car wreck. Well, what special considerations does a passenger in a vehicle that's either at fault or not at fault have? And those are important considerations. First of all, whoever's at fault needs to be determined. So if you, for instance, are a passenger in a vehicle that's involved in a wreck, you don't necessarily get a copy of the reports, and you don't know from the investigation who is at fault and not. Most of the time, your driver is going to take the position, oh, I wasn't at fault, but you don't know who was at fault. But what you can find out, and what you do have the right to know, is everybody's names. So you need to find out at the scene or thereafter, shortly thereafter. Obviously, if you don't know the name of your driver, then maybe we should have another conversation. But you should get the name of your driver, the person that's driving you, and the owner's name. Sometimes that's different. The driver of your car and the owner of your car are potentially responsible for your medical expenses and other damages. In addition, you want to know, okay, well, if you assume the other driver's at fault, maybe I should get the information for the other driver's owner and driver. So there's two different people you need to know about in each car. You need to know the owner's name, if it's a different person than the driver. Sometimes it's the same. And in your car, you want to know the owner and driver of your vehicle if it's a different person. That information is important. The other thing you need to know is that even though you're in that person's car or that individual's car, they may or may not have a policy that will offer benefits to you. That's something that a lawyer needs to look at for you. But you do need to understand that potentially the car that you're in has a policy that you can take advantage of for purposes of your bills and expenses. The car policy on the car that hit you potentially has benefits. The owner of the two cars, if they're different than the driver, potentially has an insurance policy that may benefit you. And then last but not least, your own car policy has benefits that may endure to your medical bills and other expenses related to the wreck. So it's a complicated mesh of insurance policies, but the starting point is to know the identity of the people that are involved so you can find out if there are insurance policies that cover those individuals. That's important to know. The other thing that you should know is that simply because you're a passenger in a vehicle with somebody driving, that doesn't absolve you from potential liability. There have been many cases that I've looked at where the passenger is doing something that distracts the driver. So there may be an argument, if your driver's at fault and you're injured, there may be an argument that you're comparatively negligent for distracting your driver. So those are issues that obviously would need to be looked at by a lawyer too, and we need to decide whether or not what we need to do to put your best foot forward, because if you're injured and your conduct contributes to the wreck, there's an argument the other side can make that you are comparatively negligent. And we've talked about that in other videos on this channel. Short and sum, you need to talk to a lawyer, preferably one that's board certified in civil trial that can sort of guide you through these issues. You can find us if you have more questions about this kind of wreck. If you're a passenger in a vehicle that's involved in a wreck and you're injured, you can find us on the web at zarzaurlaw.com, or you can call us at 855-HIRE-JOE.